Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. The Nevada sand hissed under Cole's worn boots, each step a dull knife slicing through the silence. The desert didn't forgive, didn't comfort, it swallowed the weak whole. Cole liked that. Cities with their flickering lights, prying eyes, and whispers of a past he'd buried, they didn't belong here. He wasn't looking for anything, just forgetting. But tonight the desert wasn't empty. A low moan, like wind choked in a throat, cut through the night. Cole froze, hand brushing the revolver holstered at his hip. His eyes narrowed, scanning the darkness under the cold silver moonlight. There, a few yards away, beside a glinting shard of metal, was a woman. No, not quite a woman. Her skin shimmered like liquid steel under the light, hair white and tangled, a spiderweb torn by the wind. Blood, not red but blue, glowing like spilled oil, pooled on the sand, tracing strange arcs. She lifted her head slow, her golden eyes piercing through him, as if seeing the shadows he kept hidden. "Help me," she whispered, her voice a broken bell, sharp yet faint, like it might dissolve into the air. Cole cursed under his breath, the growl escaping his parched throat. He glanced around, hand tightening on the gun's grip. No tracks. No enemies. Just the night, the sand, and that damned wreck, a twisted heap of scorched metal, like it had fallen from the sky. He stepped forward, each stride heavy, as if carrying the weight of the world. Kneeling, his hand hovered over her shoulder. Cold. Cold as ice, though the desert still burned hot. "What the hell are you?" he asked, voice rough, not expecting an answer. She didn't speak, only grabbed his wrist, tight, cold, like he was her only lifeline. "They're coming," she whispered, golden eyes wide, frantic. Cole didn't ask who they were. He didn't need to. He'd seen eyes like hers before, eyes of the hunted, who knew death was stalking. He scooped her up, lighter than he expected, as if she were made of light instead of flesh. She leaned into his chest, blue blood seeping through his shirt, icy cold. He moved fast, boots sinking into the sand, toward his old truck half a mile away. The moon watched, indifferent, like it knew secrets he couldn't yet see. The truck loomed in the dark, a rusted heap that still ran. Cole yanked open the door, laying her gently in the passenger seat, careful, like she might shatter. Her eyes were shut, breath shallow, but her chest still rose and fell. He circled to the driver's side, but before he climbed in, she whispered, "Your name?" "Cole." He froze, hand on the door. "I didn't tell you my name." His voice was low, almost a growl. She smiled, faint blue blood dripping from her chin, glinting under the truck's dim interior light. "I know." Then her eyes closed, and she passed out, leaving Cole with a pounding heart and a wordless question. He slammed the gas, the truck roaring to life, tearing into the dark. The trail was rough, rocks pinging under the tires, but Cole didn't slow. He glanced at her, her silver face dim under the weak light. She wasn't human, but she wasn't a monster either. Something about her, her fragility, or her defiance, kept him from turning away. He cursed again, hands gripping the wheel. "What are you doing, Cole?" he muttered, but the desert didn't answer. Far off, a streak of light flashed across the sky, quick then gone. Not a shooting star. Not a plane. Cole squinted, heart beating faster. He floored it, the truck rattling over the sand. His shack was a few miles off, a place no one bothered to find, but now he wasn't sure it was safe. This girl, or whatever she was, had brought trouble, and trouble never came alone. The trail led into a narrow canyon, where shadows thickened, swallowing the moonlight. Cole eased off the gas, eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. Nothing. But he felt it, that prickling on his neck, like someone, or something, was watching. He stopped the truck, killed the engine, letting silence flood in. The wind howled through the rocks, carrying the sharp scent of burned metal. He grabbed his gun, stepped out. "Stay put," he said, though he knew she couldn't hear. He circled the truck, gun low, ears straining. A sound, no, a hum, low, almost inaudible, like a machine's pulse. Cole spun, eyes locking on a pile of metal a few yards off. Not rock, not brush. Something small, round, blinking red, half buried in the sand. He stepped closer, slow, heart pounding. It clicked, then flared, red light sweeping across his face. Son of a bitch, he muttered, backing up. A screech tore through the air, sharp as a blade, from the canyon's edge. Cole sprinted to the truck, dove into the driver's seat, and started the engine. Wake up! He shouted, shaking her shoulder. Her eyes snapped open, golden and wild. Hunters! She whispered, voice trembling. They found me. Cole didn't ask. He floored it, the truck lurching through the canyon, rocks flying. Behind them, red lights blinked closer, faster. The canyon opened into a wide sand flat, moonlight bathing everything in silver. Cole checked the mirror. 3 shapes, 6 legs each, moving like spiders, red eyes glowing like headlights. What the hell are hunters? He growled, hands tight on the wheel. She gripped the seat, blue blood dripping down her arm. Weapons. Theirs. They don't stop. Cole's lips twitched into a grim smirk. Then we don't stop either. The truck shook, sand spraying. A red beam sliced through the air, grazing the window, leaving a scorched mark. Cole cursed, swerving, the truck sliding on the sand. You got anything to fight back with? He asked, eyes on the trail. She shook her head, hand touching a thin metal band at her throat, blinking red. Just me, she said, voice low. Cole glanced at her, just a second. That's enough. The shack loomed ahead, a dark speck in the desert. Cole slammed the brakes, the truck skidding to a stop. He yanked her out, half carrying her as they ran. Inside! He yelled, shoving the door open. She stumbled, collapsing on the floor, blue blood pooling on the wood. Cole slammed the door, barricading it with a metal crate. The screech was closer now, sharp, cold, like death knocking. He knelt beside her, gun in hand. You okay? She nodded, weak, but her golden eyes still burned. Thank you? Cole. He didn't answer, just peered through a crack in the door. Red lights blinked outside, slow, waiting. Cole gripped his gun, heart steady. They want you, he said, voice rough. They'll have to go through me first. Cole's shack was a patchwork of wood and scrap iron, thrown together in the desert to keep out the wind and uninvited questions. The rusted tin roof creaked under the weight of the night, as if the desert itself were breathing. Cole kicked the door shut, dust swirling, and laid the girl, or whatever she was, on an old mattress in the corner. She felt heavier now, as if consciousness were dragging her back to reality. Her skin gleamed under the oil lamp's glow, not skin, but like starlight forged into flesh, reflecting every ray in silver arcs. He draped an army blanket over her, hiding the blue blood still seeping from her arm. Cole rummaged for his med kit, a dented metal box he hadn't touched in years. His hands shook not from fear, but from the strange chill of touching her, cold yet alive. You understand me? He asked, voice rough, crouching by the mattress, tearing open a pack of gauze. She nodded, slow, her golden eyes fixed on him, blazing like a fire held back. I'm Scylla, she said, her voice steadier than out in the desert, but distant, like it came from a place he couldn't reach. Not from here. Cole snorted, ripping the gauze. Didn't need you to tell me that. He bandaged the gash on her arm, careful, though the blue blood made his skin crawl. It didn't smell like iron, but sharp, like machine oil, strange and biting. Scylla didn't flinch, didn't wince, just watched him, as if studying every move. Does it hurt? He asked, not looking up. She shook her head. I don't feel like you do. Cole paused, just a second, then kept working. Lucky you. When he finished, he stood, wiping his hands on his shirt, and lit a small fire in the old iron stove. The light danced on the wooden walls, catching cracks and scraps of faded newspaper. Scylla sat up, the blanket sliding off her shoulder, revealing skin that shimmered like a lake under moonlight. You're not afraid of me, she said, not a question, her voice testing him. Cole shrugged, checking the revolver on the table, rounds already chambered. I'm afraid of plenty, coyotes, sandstorms, my past. You're not on the list. She smiled, just a flicker, like smiling was something she had to relearn. What's your name? Cole glanced at her, hand pausing on the gun. You already know, don't you? Same way you knew my name out there. Scylla tilted her head, white hair spilling over her shoulder. I sense it. Part of me, not all. Cole huffed, sitting on a wooden chair across from her. Name's Cole. And I don't do small talk. Scylla watched him longer than he liked, her golden eyes reading something he didn't say. But you saved me, she said, voice low, almost a whisper. Why? Cole gripped the gun's handle, staring into the fire, its red-orange glow dancing in his eyes. Because leaving you to die out there wasn't right. That's all. But they both knew it wasn't all. Something about her, her fragility, or her refusal to break, made him unable to walk away. He stood, grabbing a ration bar from his pack, offering it to her. Eat. You need strength. Scylla shook her head, her hand brushing the thin metal band at her throat, blinking red like a machine's pulse. I don't eat your food, she said. My body, it's different. Cole raised an eyebrow, sitting back, gun still in hand. Different how? She looked down, fingers tracing the band, its red light glinting in her eyes. I'm an experiment. Half organic, half machine. They made me to kill, fast, precise, no emotions. Her voice was steady, but something cracked, like she was fighting her own words. I didn't want to kill. I ran. They don't forgive. Cole stiffened, grip tightening on the gun, but he didn't back away. And now they want you dead? Scylla nodded, golden eyes meeting his. They want me back. Or erased. Outside, the wind howled through the shack's gaps, carrying a strange metallic tang, sharp as a blade. Cole stood, pulling the curtain tight, but not before glancing into the dark. No red lights, no screeches, but he felt it, that prickling, like death was standing at the door. Sleep, he said, voice low. We'll figure it out come morning. But he didn't sleep. He sat there, gun on his lap, eyes on Scylla, wondering if he just saved a victim or invited a monster inside. The fire crackled, its light fading. Scylla lay down, pulling the blanket to her chin, but her eyes stayed open, golden in the dark. Cole, she whispered, barely audible. If they come, don't let them take me. He didn't look at her, just nodded, hand on the gun. They won't get you. Hours crawled by, slow as sand falling. Cole checked the door, adding another crate to the barricade. He dug through his pack, pulling out a dagger, setting it beside the gun. Every sound, wind, sand, the creak of wood, made him tense, hand ready on his weapons. Scylla breathed evenly, but didn't sleep, her eyes scanning the shack, like memorizing every detail. You live alone, she said, not a question. Cole grunted. Better that way. She sat up, slow, the blankets slipping. No one lives alone forever. Cole shot her a sharp look. What do you know about me? Scylla smiled, sad, like she saw something he kept buried. I know you don't belong here. Like me? He turned away, no answer, but her words were a knife in his chest. Then, a screech rang out, low, distant, but sharp, slicing through the night. Cole sprang up, gun aimed at the door. Scylla sat upright, hand on the band, its red light blinking faster. They're here, she whispered, voice trembling. Cole yanked her to the floor, shoving her behind a crate. Stay down, he growled, eyes locked on the door's crack. Red lights blinked outside, slow, steady, like a machine's heartbeat. Cole crouched, gun ready, breath even. Hunters? He asked, not turning. Scylla nodded, clutching the blanket. They don't stop. Ever. Cole's lips curled into a grim smirk, finger on the trigger. Then we'll teach 'em how. The screech grew closer, joined by a hum under the floor, like metal steps on sand. Cole glanced at Scylla, just a second. Her golden eyes weren't scared, they burned. You ready? He asked. She nodded, standing, though blue blood still dripped from her arm. I won't let them win, she said, voice sharp as a blade. Cole smirked. Good. Neither will I. Dawn hadn't yet broken the dark when a screech rang out, not wind, but sharp, like a blade carving through metal. Cole shot up from the wooden chair, revolver already in hand, finger poised on the trigger. His heart pounded, not from fear, but like a machine kicking into gear. Scylla stood by the window, curtain half drawn, golden eyes blazing like fire in the shadows. They found me, she said, voice low, almost a whisper, but heavy with deadly certainty. Faster than I thought. Cole lunged, yanking her away from the window, hand gripping her shoulder. Who are they? Scylla touched the thin metal band at her throat, its red light blinking faster, like the pulse of an artificial heart. The ones who made me, she answered, eyes never leaving his. I was their weapon, a tool, a killer. I betrayed them, and they sent the hunters. Cole peered through a crack in the door, eyes narrowing. A shape moved among the rocks in the desert, not human, not beast. 6 metal legs, thin as blades, stabbed into the sand, red eyes sweeping like headlights in the night. Hunters, Scylla whispered, voice trembling. They don't stop. Ever. Cole grabbed her hand, pulling her toward the shack's back door. Then we run. They burst outside, sand spraying underfoot, the cold air stabbing their lungs. The hunter's screech grew closer, not 1, but 3, blending into a death song, like laughter from the grave. Cole shoved Scylla into a narrow crevice between 2 massive boulders, shielding her with his body. He crouched, gun aimed, breath steady. The hunters paused, yards away, red eyes scanning, slow, like they could smell life. Scylla gripped his hand, hard enough to hurt, nails digging into his skin. If they take me, she whispered, golden eyes locked on his. Kill me first. Cole looked at her, no hesitation, voice like stone. No one's taking you. Not today. He squeezed her hand, just a second, then let go, eyes back on the hunters. One turned, its red light grazing the crevice, singeing his sleeve. Cole cursed, pulling Scylla deeper. They've seen us. They slipped through the crevice, moving fast between the canyon's walls, where shadows clung like ink. The hunters didn't fire blindly, each red beam was calculated, like a chess game with their lives as stakes. Cole grabbed a metal shard from a wrecked ship, hurling it far. It clanged against rock, and one hunter spun, legs stabbing sand. Run! He growled, yanking Scylla through another gap. They tore across the desert, sand clogging their boots, sweat streaming down Cole's face despite the chill. The screech followed, relentless, like a machine's heartbeat that never tired. Cole glanced at Scylla, running beside him, blue blood dripping from her arm, but her steps were steady. You okay? He asked, voice rough. She nodded, golden eyes blazing. I was made to survive. Cole's lips twitched into a smirk, though his heart hammered. Good. 'Cause I'm not losing today. The canyon opened into a wide sand flat, moonlight bathing everything in silver. In the distance, an abandoned gas station loomed, its broken windows glinting, tin roof sagging. Cole pointed. There. We hold up there. They sprinted, sand flying, the hunter's screech only yards behind. Cole kicked the station's door, the stench of old oil hitting his nose. He dragged rusted barrels, barricading the entrance, each shove a declaration of war. Scylla knelt in a corner, hand trembling as she touched the band at her throat. I can disable the signal, she said, voice urgent. If I kill it, they lose my trace. But it takes time. Cole nodded, gun propped on his shoulder, eyes locked on the door. I'll buy you time. Do it. He crouched behind a barrel, checking his rounds, half a clip left. Outside, the hunter's shadows slid past, red eyes sweeping through shattered glass, slow, like savoring fear. Cole gripped his gun, breath even. You got this? He asked, not turning. Scylla pulled a sharp metal shard from her pocket, jamming it into the band, blue blood staining her chest. I have to, she answered, voice sharp as a blade. The screech stopped, sudden, leaving the air heavy. Cole squinted, heart pounding. What are they doing? Scylla didn't answer, hands shaking as she twisted the shard. A click sounded from the band, its red lights slowing. Almost done, she whispered. But then, a crash shook the door, barrels rattling. Cole cursed, aiming. Hurry, Scylla! The door burst open, a hunter lunging in, metal legs stabbing the floor, red eyes locking on Cole. He fired, the bullet hitting a leg, sparks flying, but it only staggered, not fell. Scylla shouted, "Done!" The band clicked one last time, its red light dying. The hunter froze, eyes flickering, like it lost its signal. Cole didn't wait. He charged, driving his dagger into a joint, metal screaming, and it collapsed, eyes dark. Cole panted, turning back. Scylla slumped against the wall, blue blood pooling, but her eyes blazed. "Signal's gone," she said, voice weak. Cole knelt, checking her wound. "Good. But they're still out there." He pulled her up, hand gripping hers. "You did it. Now we survive." Outside, the screech resumed, fainter, but not just hunters. A deeper hum, like an engine of something bigger. Cole glanced through the door, spotting a new shadow, not a hunter, but tall, moving slow across the sand. "What the hell now?" he muttered. Scylla squeezed his hand tight. "Not just hunters," she whispered. "Someone's controlling them. And he's coming." Cole's lips curled, gun ready. "Then we give him a welcome." He pulled Scylla back, eyes never leaving the shadow. The desert was quiet, but not at peace. It was waiting, like a predator. Night draped the desert in black, heavy as iron, the only light from the moon slicing through the gas station's broken windows. The air stank of oil and rust, thick enough to choke. Cole crouched behind a rusted barrel, revolver steady, eyes locked on the shadows outside. The hunters were out there, their screeches gone quiet, but their red eyes blinked slow, like predators savoring the wait. Scylla knelt beside him, her silver skin catching the moonlight, blue blood drying on her chest where she'd pried the band from her throat. The signal was dead, but the hunters had it left. They were circling, patient, like death itself. "They're not just machines," Scylla whispered, her voice sharp, a blade wrapped in silk. Her golden eyes flicked to Cole, steady despite the tremble in her hands. "Someone's controlling them. I can feel it." Cole didn't look at her, his gaze fixed on the door. "Then we find the bastard and end this." His voice was low, rough, like gravel under boots. He checked his rounds, 5 left. Not enough, but he'd make them count. Scylla gripped a jagged pipe she'd torn from the station's wall, her knuckles white, though her face stayed calm. "If we survive this, Cole," she said, almost too soft to hear, "I owe you." He glanced at her, just a second, her golden eyes burning with something he couldn't name, gratitude, maybe, or defiance. "Survive first," he grunted. "Then we talk debts." A screech tore through the silence, closer, sharper, like metal claws on glass. Cole tensed, finger on the trigger. A hunter lunged through the door, 6 legs stabbing the floor, red eyes locking on him. He fired, the bullet sparking off its chest, staggering it but not stopping it. Scylla moved fast, faster than human, swinging the pipe like a bat. It connected with a sickening crunch, shattering one leg, sparks flying. The hunter screeched, collapsing, but another took its place, red beam grazing Cole's shoulder, searing his skin. "Move!" Cole shouted, shoving Scylla toward the back exit. They stumbled into the desert, sand spraying, the gas station shrinking behind them. The hunters followed, their screeches a chorus of death, red lights cutting through the dark. Cole grabbed Scylla's wrist, pulling her into a narrow canyon, rocks scraping their skin. They slid into a shadowed crevice, hearts pounding, breath ragged. The hunters paused outside, their hum low, like a machine's pulse, searching. Scylla leaned against the rock, blue blood dripping from a fresh cut on her arm. "They won't stop," she whispered, voice shaking but fierce. "Not until I'm dead, or they are." Cole crouched, gun ready, eyes on the canyon's mouth. "Then we make sure it's them." He glanced at her, her silver face pale but defiant, and something stirred in his chest. "You're not dying tonight, Starlight." The nickname slipped out soft, like it belonged to her. Scylla's eyes widened, just a fraction, then softened. "Starlight," she echoed, a faint smile breaking through. A new sound cut the air, not a screech, but heavier, a deep hum, like an engine waking. Cole peered out, squinting. Beyond the hunters, a taller figure moved across the sand, not machine, but something else. Armored, sleek, its eyes not red but white, glowing like cold fire. That's no hunter. Cole muttered, grip tightening on his gun. Scylla stiffened, her breath catching. He's here, she whispered, voice laced with dread. The one controlling them. Cole pulled her deeper into the crevice, his voice low. Who is he? Scylla's golden eyes darkened, like clouds over a flame. Kale. He was, like me, their creation. But he never broke free. Her words hung heavy, like a confession. Cole didn't push, not now. Can we take him? Scylla hesitated, then nodded, slow. We have to. The hum grew louder, the figure Kale, stopping yards away, his wide eyes sweeping the canyon. The hunters flanked him, obedient, their red lights dimming, like dogs called to heel. Cole's lips curled into a grim smirk. All right, Starlight, he said, voice steady. Let's give him a fight. Scylla gripped the pipe tighter, her smile sharp, like a blade. For freedom, she said, and Cole nodded. For us. The canyon was a maze of shadows, jagged rocks clawing at the sky, moonlight barely piercing the dark. Cole and Scylla crept through the narrow paths, sand crunching underfoot, the hum of Kale's presence a constant pulse in the air. The hunters had fallen back, their screeches silent, but Cole knew better than to trust the quiet. Kale was close, his wide eyes a beacon in the night, cold and unyielding, like a machine that never blinked. Scylla moved beside him, her silver skin glinting faintly, blue blood crusted on her arm. She was slower now, her steps heavy, but her golden eyes burned with a fire that hadn't dimmed. He knows I'm here, she whispered, her voice low, urgent. He always does. Cole glanced at her, revolver steady in his hand. Then we don't hide. We hit him first. His voice was rough, but sure, like a man who'd faced death before and walked away. They slipped out of the canyon, crouching behind a cluster of boulders. Ahead, a makeshift camp glowed faintly. Tents of sleek metal, not canvas, their edges sharp, like blades planted in the sand. Kale stood in the center, his armored form towering, 7 feet of polished steel and menace. His wide eyes swept the desert, unhurried, as if time belonged to him. 2 hunters flanked the camp, red eyes dim, waiting for his command. Cole studied the setup, heart steady. He's got a control panel, he whispered, nodding toward a glowing console near Kale, its lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Smash that, and the hunters might stop. Scylla nodded, her fingers tightening around the pipe. I can disable it, she said, voice sharp. But Kale, he's fast. Like me? Cole's lips twitched. Good. I like a challenge. They moved, low and silent, circling the camp. Cole took the left, Scylla the right, their steps synchronized, like soldiers who'd fought together for years. The desert was still, the only sound Kale's low hum, like a machine chanting its own name. Cole reached the camp's edge, ducking behind a metal crate, gun aimed at Kale's back. Scylla slid toward the console, her movements fluid, almost invisible, like a shadow made of starlight. Then Kale turned, white eyes locking on Scylla, as if he'd known she was there all along. You can't run forever, Scylla, he said, his voice deep, mechanical, but laced with something human, anger, maybe, or betrayal. Scylla froze, pipe raised, golden eyes blazing. I'm not running, she said, voice steady. I'm choosing. Kale stepped forward, hunter stirring at his command, their red eyes flaring. You're a flaw, he said, voice cold. A weapon that thinks it's alive. But you're mine. Scylla's lips curled, defiant. I was never yours. Cole didn't wait. He fired, the bullet sparking off Kale's armor, barely denting it. Kale spun, white eyes narrowing, and a hunter lunged, legs slashing. Cole dove, rolling across the sand, firing again, the bullet hitting a hunter's eye, shattering it. Scylla sprinted to the console, jamming the pipe into its circuits, sparks flying. Almost there, she shouted, blue blood dripping from her hands. Cale moved, fast, too fast, his armored fist grazing her side, sending her crashing into a tent. Scylla! Cole yelled, firing at Cale, each shot sparking uselessly. Scylla staggered up, golden eyes fierce, and drove the pipe deeper, the console screeching, lights flickering. Cale froze, white eyes flickering, like a machine caught in a loop. You think this ends it? He growled, voice glitching. You're a bomb, Scylla. Inside you. One signal, and you're ash. Scylla's face paled, hand clutching her chest, but her eyes didn't waver. Then I'll take you with me, she said, twisting the pipe one last time. The console exploded in sparks, hunters collapsing, their red eyes dark. Cale staggered, white eyes dimming, but he lunged, grabbing Scylla's throat, lifting her off the ground. Cole charged, dagger in hand, driving it into Cale's arm joint, metal screaming. Cale dropped her, spinning, his fist connecting with Cole's chest, sending him sprawling. Pain exploded, ribs cracking, but Cole rolled, grabbing his gun, firing point blank into Cale's chest. Cale stumbled, white eyes flickering, then steadied. You can't win, he said, voice low, almost sad. The fleet is coming. You'll all burn. He turned, vanishing into the dark, his hum fading. Cole crawled to Scylla, pulling her up, her breath ragged, blue blood pooling. You okay, Starlight? He asked, voice rough. She nodded, weak, but her smile was sharp. He's gone. For now. Cole helped her stand, eyes scanning the sky. A red streak flashed, faint, then gone. The fleet. Scylla whispered, voice heavy. They're close. Cole's jaw tightened, hand gripping hers. Then we move. Now. They stumbled away from the camp, sand swallowing their tracks, the desert watching, silent, as war loomed above. The cave was a jagged wound in the canyon's heart, its walls rough, swallowing sound and light. Cole dragged Scylla inside, her silver skin pale, blue blood trailing from her arm and side. The fight with Cale had left them battered, Cole's chest throbbed, ribs bruised, each breath a knife. Scylla slumped against the rock, golden eyes dim but still burning, like embers refusing to die. Outside, the hunters were silent, their red eyes gone, but the desert wasn't safe. Cale's words hung heavy. A bomb inside you. Cole knelt beside her, pulling a small knife from his boot, its blade glinting under the faint moonlight filtering through the cave's mouth. Talk to me, Starlight, he said, voice low, steady, though his heart pounded. What did he mean, a bomb? Scylla's hand trembled, touching her chest, where a faint blue pulse glowed through her skin, like a heartbeat trapped in glass. They built me to destroy, she whispered, voice cracking. A failsafe. If I betrayed them, they'd trigger it. A bomb in my heart. Cole's jaw tightened, eyes locked on the blue glow. Can you disable it? Scylla shook her head, slow, her breath shallow. I don't know. It's deep. Part of me. She met his eyes, golden and fierce, but scared, for the first time. If it goes off, Cole, I could kill you. Everyone. Cole grabbed her shoulders, firm, his voice like stone. You're not a weapon. You're Scylla. And you're not dying today. He studied the glow, mind racing. He wasn't a surgeon, wasn't a tech, just a man who'd fixed broken trucks and broken lives. But he'd be damned if he let her die. Show me, he said, knife ready. Scylla hesitated, then nodded, pulling her shirt aside. Her chest shimmered, silver skin parting like liquid, revealing a small panel, no bigger than a coin, pulsing blue, wires thin as veins weaving into her flesh. Cole's hand steadied, though sweat stung his eyes. Tell me what to do. Scylla's voice was faint, guiding him. The blue wire, cut it. But if you touch the red, it triggers. Cole nodded, knife hovering, the blade's edge catching the blue glow. His hands didn't shake, not now. He'd faced death before, Kabul, the screams, the blood, but this was different. This was her. Outside, a low hum stirred, faint, like a hunter waking. Cole ignored it, focusing on the wire, his world narrowing to the blade and the blue pulse. He sliced, clean, the wire snapping. Scylla gasped, her body jerking, blue blood seeping from the panel. Keep going, she whispered, voice tight. Cole's knife moved to the next wire, heart pounding, each cut a gamble with her life. The hum grew louder, sand shifting outside. Cole glanced up, just a second, spotting red lights blinking through the cave's mouth. They're back, he muttered, knife still working. Scylla gripped his arm, golden eyes fierce. Finish it, Cole. Please. He nodded, cutting the last wire, the blue glow fading, the panel going dark. Scylla slumped, breath shallow, but alive. Cole dropped the knife, pulling her into his arms, her silver skin cold against his chest. You did it, Starlight, he whispered, voice rough with relief. Her eyes fluttered open, golden and weak, but her smile was real. No, she said soft. You did. The hum outside exploded into a screech, hunters closing in. Cole grabbed his gun, pulling Scylla to her feet. We're not done yet, he said, voice hard. She nodded, leaning on him, her hand gripping his. Together, she said, and Cole's lips curled, grim but sure. Always. They moved deeper into the cave, sand crunching, the hunters' red lights chasing their shadows. Above, the sky burned red, a streak brighter than before, like a warning. Cole tightened his grip on Scylla's hand, heart steady. Whatever came, hunters, Kale, or the fleet, he'd fight. For her. For them. For the stubborn, human will to keep going. The cave shook, sand cascading from the ceiling, as a low boom echoed outside, like thunder trapped in the earth. Cole pulled Scylla close, her silver skin cold against his arm, blue blood still seeping from her wounds. The bomb in her heart was dead, its blue glow extinguished, but Kale's words lingered like a curse. The fleet is coming. Cole's jaw tightened, eyes scanning the cave's mouth. Red lights flickered outside, faint, but growing, joined by a deeper hum, not hunters, but something bigger, something that made the air itself feel heavy. Scylla stood, shaky but defiant, her golden eyes blazing. They're here, she whispered, voice sharp, like a blade cutting through fear. The fleet. They're masters. Cole grabbed his gun, checking the chamber, 3 rounds left. Not enough for a war, but enough to start one. Then we don't wait, he said, voice rough, steady. We hit them before they hit us. They moved to the cave's edge, crouching low, peering into the desert. The sky burned red, not dawn, but something unnatural, like blood spilled across the stars. A shape loomed on the horizon, not a hunter, not Kale, but a ship, sleek, massive, its hull glinting like polished bone under the moonlight. Smaller crafts flanked it, their red lights pulsing, like eyes of a beast waking from sleep. Cole's heart pounded, but his hands didn't shake. That's no scouting party, he muttered. That's an invasion. Scylla gripped his arm, her nails digging into his skin. They want me, she said, voice low, urgent. I'm the key, their weapon, their mistake. If they take me, they'll burn this world. Cole met her eyes, golden, fierce, and saw something new, not just fear, but fire, the kind that didn't bend. They're not getting you, Starlight, he said, voice like stone. Not while I'm breathing. A screech cut the air, sharp, familiar. Kale emerged from the shadows, his armored form glinting, white eyes cold as death. Hunters flanked him, their red eyes flaring, but he waved them back, like a king dismissing dogs. You can't run, Scylla, he called, voice deep, glitching with static. You're theirs. Always were. Scylla stepped forward, blue blood dripping, her voice steady. I'm no one's. I choose freedom. Kale's eyes flickered, almost human, almost sad. Freedom? He said, voice low. You think this man changes what you are? He turned to Cole, white eyes narrowing. You're no hero, Cole. Kabul, remember? The blood on your hands, children, families. You think you can save her? Cole froze, the name hitting like a bullet, memories flooding, screams, smoke, his past a wound that never healed. His grip on the gun wavered, just a second, but Scylla grabbed his hand, her touch cold but firm. He's not that man anymore, she said, voice sharp, eyes locked on Cale. And I'm not your weapon. Cole snapped back, gun raised, heart steady. You're done talking, he growled, firing. The bullet sparked off Cale's armor, useless, but it was a signal. Scylla sprinted, fast, toward Cale's ship, parked at the camp's edge, its ramp open like a taunting mouth. Cole followed, hunters lunging, their legs slashing. He dove, rolling across the sand, firing, each shot sparking off metal. Scylla reached the ship, hacking the panel with a shard of metal, sparks flying. I can fly it, she shouted, voice fierce. Get in! Cole scrambled aboard, the ramp slamming shut as hunters pounded the hull. Scylla's hands moved like lightning, rewiring the controls, blue blood staining the console. The ship roared to life, lifting off, the desert shrinking below. Cole braced himself, gun ready, as the sky burned redder, the fleet's ships closing in. Where to? He asked, voice rough. Scylla's golden eyes met his, sharp, determined. The mother ship. We end this. The ship climbed, stars blurring, the fleet's red lights like a swarm of angry gods. Cole gripped her shoulder, just a second. We're not losing, Starlight, he said, voice low, sure? Scylla smiled, faint, but real. Not today, she said, and the ship shot forward, into the heart of the storm. The stars were gone, swallowed by the mother ship's shadow, a colossus of steel and light that dwarfed the desert below. Cole clung to the ship's console, his bruised ribs screaming with each jolt, as Scylla piloted through a maze of smaller crafts, their red beams slicing the void. The fleet was relentless, 1,000 eyes of fire, but Scylla's hands were steady, her golden eyes locked on the mother ship's core, glowing like a caged sun through its hull. That's the target, she said, voice sharp, unwavering. Destroy it, and the fleet falls. Cole checked his gun, 1 round left. His dagger was strapped to his boot, its edge dulled from Cale's armor. How do we get in? He asked, voice rough, eyes scanning the chaos outside. Scylla's fingers danced across the console, hacking systems faster than he could follow, blue blood dripping onto the controls. I'm rewriting their codes, she said, voice tight. Opening a path. A gap appeared in the fleet, a narrow tunnel of black between red beams. She floored it, the ship lurching, metal groaning. They breached the mother ship's hull, crashing into a vast chamber, its walls pulsing with blue light, like veins of a living machine. Cole stumbled out, gun raised, Scylla beside him, her silver skin glinting under the eerie glow. The core loomed ahead, a sphere of raw energy, crackling, its hum shaking the floor. That's it, Scylla whispered, voice heavy. But it's guarded. Cale emerged from the shadows, white eyes blazing, his armor scarred but unbroken. Hunters flanked him, their red eyes flickering, like machines unsure of their master. You're too late, Cale said, voice deep, glitching. This world is theirs. Scylla stepped forward, blue blood dripping, her voice like steel. Not while we're here. Cole fired his last round, sparking off Cale's chest, useless. Cale lunged, faster than before, his fist grazing Cole's jaw, sending him crashing into a wall. Pain exploded, but Cole rolled, dagger in hand, slashing at Cale's leg, metal screaming. Scylla sprinted to the core, hacking its panel, sparks flying, her hands a blur. I can overload it, she shouted, voice fierce. But it'll take everything. Cale turned, white eyes locking on her, and charged. Cole tackled him, both crashing to the floor, fists and blades a tangle of rage. Go, Starlight! Cole yelled, pinning Cale, though his strength was fading. Scylla's eyes met his, golden and fierce, but wet, like she knew what came next. You gave me freedom, she said, voice soft, breaking. She leaned in, fast, her lips brushing his, cold but warm, a promise in a heartbeat. Now let me give you a future. She slammed the panel, the core's hum rising to a scream, white light flooding the chamber. Cale roared, throwing Cole off, lunging for Scylla, but she was faster, sealing the core's controls. Run! She shouted, pushing Cole toward an escape pod, its door hissing open. He fought, grabbing her arm. Not without you! But the light was blinding, the floor shaking, and she shoved him inside, her smile sad, fierce. Live coal! For me! The pod's door slammed shut, launching into the void as the mothership erupted, white light swallowing everything, like a star being born. Cole screamed her name, fist pounding the pod's wall, until it crashed into the desert, sand spraying, metal groaning. He crawled out, battered, bleeding, the sky above a graveyard of shattered ships, their red lights gone. He looked up, heart heavy, torn. You did it, Starlight, he whispered, voice breaking. You saved us all. He knelt in the sand, hand clutching a shard of the pod, cold and sharp, like a scar that wouldn't heal. The desert was silent, the wind carrying ash and the faint scent of burned metal. Cole stood, slow, eyes scanning the dark. She was gone. His Starlight, his reason to fight. But then, a streak of light flashed across the sky, not a star, but cold, sharp, like a signal from another world. Cole's grip tightened on the shard, heart pounding. They're not done, he muttered, voice low, a vow. But neither am I. He turned, limping toward his shack, the desert watching, silent, as war whispered above. The Nevada sand still hissed under Cole's boots, colder now, sharper, as if reminding him the desert never forgot. 3 months had passed since the mothership's explosion, since Scylla's light burned out. Each night, he stood outside his shack, eyes scouring the sky for a streak, a sign, but found only stars and shadows. She was gone, his Starlight, the one who gave him a reason to keep going. A shard of the escape pod sat in his pocket, cold, jagged, like a wound he wouldn't let heal. The villagers called him the mechanic, but he wasn't a hero. Just a man, patching what was left of himself. 3 months since the sky fell silent, since the fleet's wreckage littered the desert like bones of a dead god. Cole had changed, quieter now, his hands fixing trucks and wells for the villagers, each repair a small atonement for Kabul, for the blood he couldn't wash off. But the shard in his pocket was a reminder. Scylla had believed in him, and that belief was heavier than guilt. He worked, he lived, but he didn't forget. Not her golden eyes, her silver skin, or the way she called him back from the dark. He sat in his shack, the fire crackling, its light dancing on the wooden walls. The night was quiet, too quiet, the kind that hid something sharp. Then, a sound, a soft step, not sand, but deliberate, like a ghost walking. Cole's hand went to his gun, heart pounding, but he froze when the door creaked open. She stood there, silver skin glinting, white hair catching the firelight, golden eyes blazing like they'd never left. Scylla, he whispered, voice breaking, the gun falling to the floor. She smiled, stepping inside, each move light but sure, like she'd never been gone. I'm an experiment, remember? She said, voice soft, sharp, like a bell in the night. They didn't make me to die easily. She touched her chest, where a faint blue pulse glowed, half organic, half machine, still beating. When I triggered the core, I hacked a hidden escape pod, rerouting its systems. But the blast tore me apart, circuits fried, blue blood drained. I crashed in the mountains, rebuilt myself piece by piece, using their tech. It took 3 months to find you, Cole. 3 months thinking of you. Cole stood, stunned, the shard clattering to the floor. He stepped forward, slow, like she might vanish. Scylla, he said again, voice raw, not from fear, but because she was here, alive, breathing, his Starlight. He pulled her into his arms, holding tight, ignoring the blue blood seeping through his shirt or the sand on her skin. She rested her head on his chest, cold but warm, like a promise kept. Don't ever do that again, he growled, voice breaking, because holding her was everything he begged for. They stood under the moonlight spilling through the door, the desert silent, like witnessing a miracle. The fire crackled, its light dancing on Scylla's silver skin, making her look forged from stars. Cole loosened his grip, but kept her hand, afraid she'd slip away. Where were you those 3 months? He asked, eyes locked on hers. Scylla glanced outside, where shadows cloaked the desert. Hiding, breaking their signals so they couldn't track me. But every night I looked to the sky, searching for you. You gave me freedom, Cole. I had to come back. He smirked, sitting on the chair, pulling her close. Your trouble, Starlight, he said, voice rough but warm. She laughed, soft, like a sound he'd forgotten how to hear. And you're stubborn, she said, golden eyes bright. That's why we work. They sat, the fire's glow wrapping them, the desert outside quiet, but not at peace. Then, a streak of light flashed across the sky, cold, sharp, not a star. Cole stood, hand tightening on Scylla's, eyes narrowing. They're back, he said, voice low, a vow. Scylla nodded, her smile fierce, like a blade. Let them come, she said, standing beside him, golden eyes burning. Together, Cole. Fleet or universe? He gripped her hand, heart steady, the shard in his pocket forgotten. Together, Starlight, he said, and they stepped outside, into the desert, under a sky alive with war. The sand hissed, the wind whispered, but they stood tall, two against the stars, ready to fight, to live, to prove humanity didn't bow.